Hey y'all, welcome back to No Melanin. It has been a while since I've uploaded a video for you guys, but today we're talking about, can y'all hear me? Because I promise you, it just got loud when I hit the record button. But today we're going to talk about what is it that albinos see versus what is it that we don't see. This seems to be something that a lot of people would like to know about. So let's talk about it. What is it that we see versus what is it that we don't see? Let's talk. Well, first, let me point out by saying that because there are different degrees or types of albinism, everyone's visual acuity is not the same. And that's a misconception because a lot of people feel like just because we are albinos or PWAs that we all have the same visual acuity, and that's not true. It's all low vision at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, but the acuity, the visual levels vary from person to person. So that's one of the main things we need to understand, is that not all albinos or PWAs see the same way. It's all low vision, but we all have varying visual acuities. And with that being said, what is it that we do with low vision? How is it that we're able to see this world around us without really being able to see? Because we have such a severe low case of vision. It's just like, what is it that you're able to see? What do you do in those types of situations? And even if you are not an albino or PWA, of course, we know that there are different illnesses or diseases or sicknesses that can bring about low vision for people. So if you're watching this and you have low vision, but you're not necessarily like an albino or PWA, it's okay. We're going to talk about it and we can compare notes. Y'all can talk to us in the comments. But for the most part, what we see is what we see. One of the things that I can say for myself specifically, because I cannot speak for all of us, but I can say that memorization is key. Because of the fact that we cannot see the same distances or the normal distances that others are able to see at, we learn to memorize key things around us that help us associate with our world. And even if it's coming down to textures or voices or specific colors, we use anything as well as almost everything that we can use to view this world and understand it a lot better. I know for myself, especially when it comes down to being in a new place, like say I have to be in a new area that I'm not really familiar with. Well, I try to go out and map out that area beforehand, a couple days before, a couple hours before even. So that way I'm familiar with the area as much as possible. And I'm talking about driving. If I'm driving somewhere, I try to familiarize myself with the route. So that way, just say it's like raining or say something else is going on, like traffic, and I have to take a detour, I have the necessary steps that I need to be able to get there. And I know we have our GPSs, which are wonderful, but it also just helps to know what's happening and what's coming next prior to. And I look for different landmarks. Like, for example, I have this red horse. Let me show it to you. Y'all see that red horse? Oh, I'm pointing the wrong direction. That red horse right there. Like, say I'm using that as my example. This is my first time being in downtown Dallas, so I'm trying to figure my way around. That horse would be a marker for me. It's very large. It's very big. It's easy to see. It's literally right there. The camera doesn't do it justice, but it's ginormous. So that would be a marker that I would use to help familiarize myself with the area until I became comfortable with the setting. So memorization is key. Even as a child, playing in certain areas or the room being constructed in a certain area really helps the kid learn the environment, simply because our vision is low. So memorization is super key. Again, I'll speak for myself when I say that when things change, it does take some getting accustomed to, simply because it's not what I learned initially. So I'm having to relearn in that sense. And I think that's something that I guess a lot of people can say, whether you have low visual acuity or not, change is change. So you have to get used to the new changed route or something like that. Even the bus route, the train route. It's just certain key things that you look for. And even when it comes down to riding public transportation, like when I ride the bus or the train, especially back in my college days, key things on the bus that helped me know that I was getting on the right bus, making sure that I was standing at the right bus stop so that way I wouldn't get on the wrong bus, because the words on the marquee would be small. So using different things that help me understand, like key markers, like, okay, I need to stand here, I need to do this, I need to do that. Those were key things. And that's why I say memorization is one of the best ways that we're able to see the world around us. Touching things, like I said, landmarks like the big red horse. It could be a building, it can be a tree, it can be a pole, it can be a car that's normally parked in a certain area. Whatever it is that helps us see the world around us better, that is what we use. So memorization is one of the key things or the key ways that we're able to see the world around us. The second thing that we do to see the world around us is use our cell phones. Use our cell phones. We use that zoom in feature on our cameras heavy, because what we can't see, we will see when we pull that cell phone out. You can believe me on that. We will see it. And so we also have RebTech, or is it RebelTech? I have to look at it. I'll put it on the screen. But I believe her name is Rebecca. I can't think of her last name right now, but she has this really cool app that you're able to use to see the world around you. And y'all, it's so cool because with low visual acuity, especially in our case with our light sensitivity and the photophobia and things like that, certain colors and light settings can affect our eyes, and we have to kind of like close our eyes or squint because we're not able to see because our eyes are so sensitive. And so the cool thing that she's done is she's created different textures and layouts and colors that if say the marquee is a little too bright for us to read the words, we can literally hold up that cell phone and use that app to adjust the light setting so that we can see it better and read what's on the board. So, and that's free in your app store, whether it's Google Play or it's Apple. That is something that's so cool. And in the case where you might not have the app, like I said, we use our cell phones to zoom in, to take pictures so that we can read and see this world around us. Like I said, the zoom in feature is key, especially on my old cell phones. Y'all wouldn't believe the amount of pictures that I had in there of things that I had taken a shot of so that I could go back later and read it. The bus schedule to just everything. Even if it was something online, I remember being in college, I rode the bus. So I would take a picture, like a screenshot of the bus schedule, and I had it saved in my phone. I used that the whole time because I would zoom in on that bus schedule so I could see the times because they were too small for me to see. Even printing it out is good too. You can print them out and have the printout in your folder or something like that. But just for me, I was always on my cell phone. So it was just easy to have it right there as opposed to pulling the paper out. But doing things like that help us see the world around us. And again, this is something that people do all the time. They don't necessarily have to have low vision, but if it's something that's at a great distance, a lot of people use their cell phones to zoom in on different things so that they can see what's ahead of them, see what that is over there, this is over here. A lot of people do it. So it's not something that's uncommon, but it's definitely something that we rely on to see the world around us at greater distances as well as greater levels. The next thing that we do to see the world around us, I mentioned it a minute ago, especially when we're on our computers, it's being able to enlarge the font, being able to adjust the font to what we need it to be. I cannot tell you how many people who have stood over my shoulder while I'm on the computer and they're like, oh, you have that large or you have that big. And that's because 100% is not always the standard for people with low visual acuity. Like, we sometimes need 150 or greater to really be able to see the words in our emails or while we're browsing the internet, even on our cell phones, being able to adjust that setting. I love the fact that there are different apps that allow us to do that, like the Bible app, for example, YouVersion. They have that what do you call it? They have that setting on there where you're able to enlarge the font or decrease the font according to your needs. And I have to say that I love it. It's something that we do if you're reading or you're typing something or whatever it is that you're doing online. You want to make sure that you have that font as large as possible so that way you can see and be able to just interact with what's going on. And another thing that we do in addition to it just came across my mind. What was it? What was I about to say? We do that. Oh, the light settings. If you've noticed, especially I would say within the past 6 or 7 years, you have settings on Google, Microsoft, so many different programs allow us to be able to use the dark setting versus the light setting whenever we're browsing online. And again, that helps us with the light sensitivity that we have. It helps us, again, be able to see the world around us. Light sensitivity is real. It is so real. It's real whether you have low vision or not, but it's definitely real when you do have it because our eyes are so sensitive. I say this all the time. We have specialized eyes. And so one of the ways that we're able to really mitigate that or help with that is by having those dark settings. I have dark settings on literally everything that I use when it comes to online. If it's light, it's because I cannot change the setting back to the dark setting, or I can't change it to the dark setting. It's dark. It's so comfortable for my eyes. It's like my eyes are laying down on the most cushiony, soft pillow ever. Like that's the best way I can describe it. It just feels like my eyes are on this really soft cushion. I love the dark setting. I highly recommend it. 10 stars, 500 stars for people who don't know that. You might not know it. It's right there online. Maybe one day I'll do a video where I walk through how to change it because everybody doesn't know how to do it. So I'll do that one day if I remember. I'll try to do that. So that way you can also be there and you can put your computer or your cell phone in dark mode and not have to worry about always getting hit with the brightness, because again, that brightness really affects our eyes due to the fact that we have low vision. I think I covered everything. I said memorization. I mentioned the cell phones. I mentioned font size. I mentioned the dark settings. If there's anything else that I missed, put it in the comments. But that's basically, in a nutshell, that's how we see a misconception. A great misconception about us is that we're incapable of doing a lot of things. And many people don't understand that while you may have low vision, it doesn't mean that you still aren't able to get around and move around in life. And we are actual proof of it. We get around. It might take us a little minute. It might take us doing little things here and there. You know, we might have to do it a little differently, but we're going to get there. We're going to make it. We're going to be on time. One thing about it, we will. We're not going to miss out on anything. We're able to thrive on our jobs and just so much more. And as I said, out of all of them, I think memorization is the one that I do the most. I memorize the world around me. I don't know. Maybe it's just because that's the way I was raised. Just in general, know what's around you, know your settings, know the building, know where the stairwell is, know where the elevators are, know where the emergency exits are. That's just something you should know, period. So it doesn't have anything to do with whether you have low vision or not, but you should always be aware of your surroundings. You should always know how to exit a building. You should always know where the stairwell is. You should always know more than one way to get to a certain spot or position or place. Again, that's just something that my parents instilled in me and it's ingrained. So a lot of it I just do by default, but definitely when it comes to low vision, it does help to have that extra, it does. It helps. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all on the next video. And check out my latest content on No Melanin as well. Be sure to check it out, okay? Love y'all so much. Bye. Okay, let me get some thumbnails, or should I just take pictures? Because if I do the thumbnail now, should I take the thumbnail? I don't know. I'm going to do it. Should I do the thumbnail? Should I do it? Okay, let's do it. Oh, let me take my headphone out. Oh, it's crooked. It's crooked. Okay. I feel like it's crooked. Is it crooked? Okay. Let me do it. Okay. Okay.